Welcome back to the channel. If you just watched Mods and Reassembly Part 1, we cleaned up the chambers and the cylinder heads and started working on the RPM air gap by knocking down to the divider and porting. From then to now, I've gotten pretty deep into porting. The cylinder head side is done on all of them, all except for the roof. I've got to flip it over and do that. But I'll show you what I've done, and then we'll keep on. I didn't do any measurements, so sorry about that. I don't have a flow bench here anyway, so all I can tell you is numbers, 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 but that doesn't mean a whole lot. The dyno will tell us if it actually mattered. We're going from Flowmaster mufflers to what I put on it, boreless. So chambered straight through, which had a good bit of back pressure with the turbos. It may not at the power level of naturally aspirated, but we've got that change. The head gasket actually sealing. That'll be a change in itself. Intake being ported, that's going to be a change. And then I want to get the big 4-barrel throttle body, and I want to change that on the dyno because I'm curious. I think that'll be an easy enough change, maybe, hopefully. But anyway, let's get into this intake manifold. So in the last video, I explained the port floor on the cylinder head and how straight it was in. And the lowers on these are nice and straight, but the uppers had quite a ramp. So I've ditched them in pretty good, about an inch. So I'd say I got 3/4 to an inch of straight in. Walls are straight, everything's straight into the cylinder head, which I think this cylinder head's gonna like. I actually was able to move those walls quite a bit once I started using this guy. So I can check the angles of everything and make sure nothing's in the damn way. And that also kind of keeps you from getting lazy porting. Instead of going to where my line of sight or what I thought was right, I go until this bastard fits. Because you can also, depending on where you hold your head while looking in this, you're like, oh, well, this is still in the way, but no. Use this, make sure you don't go too far. So we've improved quite a bit and opened it up quite a bit. I would say overall I've probably gotten, I mean, at least an eighth. I'd say 3/16 wider everywhere. Plus the tall ports, the short ones weren't so bad, or the lower ports weren't so bad, but these ones I was able to knock the floor down about 1/4 inch right here, well, maybe 3/16, and gain some height on all of them. Because there was at least that much meat on the bottom. Nothing on the top, not much to be gained. When we flip it over, we'll get some shape and we'll work the roof. But I don't think the biggest gain's going to be there. I don't really know what the biggest gains are going to be. It's kind of hard on this dual plane because unless you're going to drill holes and things, you can't get everywhere. But for the most part, the runners on this side are done except for the roof, which we will do when I flip it over. So now we will kind of look at a before and after of the throttle inlet area. At least these ones you can blow out like normal. If you're porting a kegger, which I don't recommend, that's a lot of work, it sucks. You're porting a kegger and you go to blow this out, well, guess what? It's coming right back at you. Alright, just want you to take a look at this. So, I cut this divider wall down. It's 3/8 tall. It was 2 inches tall and all the way up. So I just kind of want you to see what it looks like before we go in there and start porting. I can't see a whole lot. Like I said, it really isn't going to matter. The dyno says if it did anything or not. There's some edges like down here. This has a nice radius to it, but it's kind of tight. We may be able to give a little more radius. Right here, where this is really thin, that's about as much radius as you're going to get unless you can drag. Well, it doesn't really get taller as it goes back, so dragging this back won't really do you any good. So this one and this one's kind of screwed. This one's pretty nice. that one's not bad. It's probably actually damn near perfect. But I can work that one a bit, and that one a bit, and then of course where this has this sharp edge, I've got to work that in these sharp edges. So I'm gonna set you on the stand, and I'm gonna get back to it, and then hopefully while I'm porting I'll figure out what our next step is, because the heads are ready. I decided I'm not going to mess with the combustion chambers at all. I'm just going to leave them alone, because if I end up using them on something, my cylinder head's on something else, I might want the compression. I kind of want to put the blower back on something, just because it was cool. Not the most power, probably not, but it was freaking cool. Yeah, well, I mean, I guess that's it. I might weld up that dual 53mm. Maybe. Well, I'm going to get to it. I'm rambling. Well, that's about all we're going to do to this thing. Up top, I'm still going to flip it over and hit the roofs just a bit. So all I really wanted to do was knock that out and radius all these edges off. Nice and smooth as much as possible. Like touching this, like I said, wouldn't do us any good. All we can do is make that more shallow, and that wouldn't be good. Everything else has a pretty decent radius, and I'm sure someone else can make a lot more power out of this thing maybe. But I really don't care that much. I want... If there's 30 horsepower in this manifold and I can get 20 of it, that's good enough for me. And time invested versus, I guess, the power you're getting out of it, or in the end, the satisfaction. I don't want to spend that much time dicking around with this thing. But if it can make 20 more horse, I want it. If I can touch some magic spot, I'm sure someone knows the magic trick. You touch it right here and you get that half. I don't care. This'll work. So let's flip this turret over and get to grinding on the roof. And we're done. All I did there, the roof looks fine. I'm not worried about it. All I did was take where the radius was very wide in the corners and dig in, kind of tighten it up. So now I'm gonna rinse this thing out with water and then brake clean the hell out of it and get it ready to go on. Now I gotta figure out what's next. I'm absolutely not worried about it not being sanded. It does not make a difference. Sanding would make it a little larger by the time you touched everything, sure, but the air doesn't care. Rough is good. Alright, let's hose this turret off. Alright, it's the next day. I'm back from work. We're gonna get back to it. So, this guy's ready. Just needs blowed out. I've already rinsed it out pretty good, brake cleaned it, tried to get anything that was stuck to any residual oil out of there. But I'll blow job it one more time. I'm not going to do a damn thing to the chambers. If I had the proper tools and some chamber valves, I'd actually like to scallop or take this back and de-shroud the exhaust on this side. I'm watching a lot of videos. I watch Eric Weingartner and I watch David Vizard. I watch all of them. And I take Tim's advice too. But I take everyone's thoughts and their approaches, and then I make up my own damn mind on how I want to do it. But I could lose some compression right here and scallop this back. And I could see that helping flow. I can see it whenever it comes up piston top dead center, get that last little bit out. And according to David Vizard, you can watch his videos. I think he's got a pretty good point. So I think that would be beneficial. But I don't have the valve spring tool. I don't have the tool to get the springs off here. Nor do I want to drive 45 there and 45 back to get it. Even on the trip back from work, it's still way out of the way to go get it. So we're just going to rock on. So, blow job, double blow job. New gaskets are in a box somewhere. Well, shit. Oh, they're here. Dun, 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 dun. Go hunting for gaskets. Oh, there they go. Bam. Rock Auto 519 SD. I don't remember if I just got head gaskets or a gasket set. I think I have enough intake gaskets. If not, there's several parts stores nearby. So, blow this things off and we're going to start putting this truck together. Alright, I'm not going to go step by step through all this. I'm going to tell you what I'm going to do, and then I'm just going to work. I'm hoping maybe this thing runs tonight. If not, then tomorrow night. But if I drag it out, then it'll be, today's Tuesday, it'll be Friday or Saturday. I'd like to get it running tonight, very least tomorrow night. It's not that complicated. I've got the 519 head gaskets. I'm going to lift the gaskets up. I'm going to put a little bit of RTV up the sides just to keep that from leaking in the future. It shouldn't, but just in case. And then I'll put a little bit right here on top of each, and then I'm going to put the cylinder heads on. We're going to use the ARP head bolts that were in it. We're going to torque those bastards. I don't remember the sequence. I think it ends up at 105 foot-pounds. So I'm going to run them all in snug, probably 30, 75, 105, I don't know, 35, 45, 85, 105. Either way, we're getting to 105, and I'll do it in steps. It's not that important. This is not a how-to torque your heads video. Anyway, I'm going to get to work. So, here we go. Little note, I'm not going to douse these in oil. I'm just going to barely dip them in a cap of oil so they have a little bit of lube on them, and then we're going to go at it. Well, that's going to be it for today. Got the heads on, push rods in, rocker arms on. I'm going to throw the tarp over it for tonight. Ran out of daylight. Went on a little date with my wife. Went and got oil too, and intake manifold gaskets, oil filter. I just got some cheap crap because we're going to have to let it run for a bit, kind of cook some. I mean, I've already drained it, but we need to get the water out of it. So we'll let it run and steam some of that crap out of the system, and anything from it being open or any amounts of dust or whatever else it may have collected from sitting there. We'll get that all stirred up in the filter and then flush everything and put good stuff in it. Well, I say good stuff. It's solid. It's all expensive now, but I like Rotella. I run Rotella in everything. So that's going to be it for tonight. Tomorrow after work, provided, well, even if it's raining, I'll push it inside. Provided everything is copacetic and goes the way I want. Intake will be on, valve covers on. Everything should be ready to run. I'll get the headers on, turbos on, and we'll just see how far we can get. There's a chance it's running tomorrow, but not tonight. I could really push it and try, but there's no point in it. I gotta work tomorrow. I gotta get this video up. So If you followed along for this whole thing, thank you for watching. If you're new, like, subscribe, ring the bell, all that crap. Hell, if you've been around, hit the like button too. Anyway, thank you for watching. I'll see you again tomorrow.